Canada provides outstanding access to cancer care in certain environments. In cities like Toronto, where we have Princess Margaret Cancer Research Institute and Cancer Hospital. In rural and remote communities, we see a huge disparity in access to care and outcomes as a result. So we do see quite significant gaps there in terms of who's getting the best access. Technology and AI is enabling democratized access to cancer screening. Artificial intelligence enables us to do things that humans simply can't. We can assess huge volumes of data and actually develop personalized treatments, be able to assess how likely a cell is to be cancerous based on large volumes of data, and assess things like DNA methylation and proteomics to do that.
My name is Trevor Pugh. I direct the genomics program at the Ontario Institute for Cancer Research, and I'm a senior scientist at the Princess Margaret Cancer Centre. So we are all made of cells, and all of our cells have instructions. Genome sequencing is reading those instructions. And the current technology is actually looking at those instructions when they're spilled out into the bloodstream. So we're actually using genome sequencing of blood to try to find all those instructions, and specifically the instructions that tell a cell to be cancerous. So artificial intelligence is letting us look for patterns in DNA sequence that a human would never detect. This type of research, moving from targeted sequencing to whole genome sequencing, is analogous to looking through a keyhole, but now opening the whole door. The first human genome cost literally $1 billion. Now we can do it for under $1,000, and we're on track for hundreds of dollars per test. Whole genome sequencing is very important because it serves all cancer types. Rather than being a test for one cancer type, it's actually relevant throughout the cancer journey. It's relevant for early cancer, but that same genome informs diagnosis, can then be used to inform monitoring of disease over time. So really this idea of a single genome having meaning throughout the patient journey.
Right now we're in the data age. The ability to analyze thousands, hundreds of thousands, and millions of data points and pinpoint those into a focused panel of information that really matters for human health and early disease detection is exciting. My name is Peter Liu. I am the CEO and co-founder of Oxford Cancer Analytics. We are a biotech company focusing on earlier cancer detection through a simple blood test. This innovation is designed with everyone in mind so that it can be accessed by people anywhere in the world. So we are a protein liquid biopsy based company. With a blood that we collect, we try to quantify specific proteins in that blood samples that are relevant for cancer risk stratification and cancer risk calculation. We use machine learning as a tool to tell us whether a patient may be at a high risk of having lung cancer or not. The whole mission is to transform the paradigm of modern medicine from one that can be reactive to proactive.
Genome sequencing is very complex, and our role at OICR is to make it easy for researchers who want to use genome sequencing in their research, and eventually use genome sequencing to understand a patient's cancer as well. So the new technology from Ultima looks a lot like a record player. It has these round discs, and on these discs we sprinkle DNA fragments. And the whole purpose of that box is to read each of those fragments and give us the sequence of that DNA. So in a single tube of blood, there are trillions of pieces of DNA. This machine lets us literally look at every single space in those fragments. The beauty of this AI-based, cell-free DNA-based strategy is the test gets better and better every person we test. So every test results in the next test being better and better. We've invested in this technology to really figure out how to find cancer early. Our goal at the Ontario Institute for Cancer Research is to move that technology and make it accessible to everybody. And therefore, a key part of evaluating a new technology is how can it be made available in the remotest parts of Canada. And this is why we focused on a blood-based strategy. Blood samples can be collected almost anywhere, and then those samples can be sent to centralized labs that can do the test and then deliver results back to patients wherever they happen to be.
If you look at cancers that kill the most number of people, these are cancers that are often detected at the very late stage. If you're able to detect one of the deadliest cancers, such as lung cancer, at the earliest stage, your 5-year survivalship for patients has over a 10-fold increase. So by offering a simple blood test, we hope to shift that paradigm so that the majority of these lung cancers are detected at the earlier stage to improve patient survivalship and improve patient outcomes. When it comes to screening technology, for example, there's a modality called low-dose CT, where people go into this large donut machine and they take multiple doses of X-ray for patients who may be eligible for this test at a high risk of lung cancer. There are only so many people you're able to scan through these machines on a daily basis. There's also cost. It's not cheap to run patients through these technology. Accessibility is also an issue. There are only very specific and dedicated technology center that can house this technology run by very well-trained experts, which means that patients who are perhaps in rural settings, for example in Canada, may be disadvantaged in terms of access. And that's where the importance of innovation, having even more accessible and minimally invasive tests becomes even more important for us. I think the most rewarding part of this is yet to come. The fact that we're able to bring this life-saving technology to patients and family who need it most, and seeing how much cancer can drastically alter someone's identity and dignity as a human being, and being able to offer this technology to restore what's fundamentally human, to empower people against cancer, is incredibly meaningful.
I wouldn't be here if I didn't think it was feasible. It's an engineering problem, it's a research problem, it's an implementation problem. This is what gets me up in bed in the morning, is putting these teams together and really executing and making sure all these pieces really are functioning together as one.
It's incredibly exciting to see new technologies that are democratizing access to screening and care, especially in populations that have historically been marginalized and not served effectively by our healthcare system. Canada has a unique opportunity to lead in this type of care, and it's important that we build with an equity lens and that we create better care outcomes for all.